Hello, this is Cheryl Moore, and today I'd like to review the Residential Seller Disclosure Advisory and the Seller's Property Disclosure Statement. Arizona law requires the seller to disclose material or important facts about the property, even if you are not asked by the buyer or the real estate agent to disclose. And the disclosure obligations remain even if you and the buyer agree that no seller's property disclosure statement will be provided. So basically, according to Arizona contract for real estate, a property disclosure statement is required. Even if they did not live in the property, they should provide one because there's at least one or two things on the statement that they would know about, as you'll see going forward. Now, the SPDS, as we call it, the Seller's Property Disclosure Statement, is designed to assist you, the seller, in making legally required disclosures and to avoid inadvertent non-disclosures of material facts. And so to satisfy your disclosure obligations and protect yourself against alleged non-disclosure, you should complete the Seller's Property Disclosure Statement by answering all the questions as truthfully and as thoroughly as possible. Now, the buyer asks about an aspect of the property. You have a duty to disclose that information, even if you do not consider the information material. You also have a legal duty to disclose facts when disclosure is necessary to prevent a previous statement from being misleading or misrepresented. If you do not make the legally required disclosures, you may be subject to civil liability. And under certain circumstances, non-disclosure of a fact is the same as saying that the fact does not exist. Therefore, non-disclosure may be given the same legal effect as fraud. Now, certainly if you don't know the information, you don't know, and you can't disclose those things, but it's very important that things you do know are disclosed. Now, by law, the sellers are not obligated to disclose that the property is or has been the site of a natural death, suicide, homicide, or crime classified as a felony. They're not obligated to disclose if it was owned or occupied by a person exposed to HIV or diagnosed with having AIDS or any disease not known to be transmitted through common occupancy of real estate. They are not obligated to disclose if it's located in the vicinity of a sex offender. However, the law does not protect a seller who makes intentional misrepresentations. So if you don't know, you don't know. But if you intentionally misrepresent, the law may not be on your side as a seller. For example, if you're asked whether there's been a death on the property and you know that there was such a death, you should not answer no or I don't know. Instead, you should either answer truthfully or respond that you are not legally required to answer the question. So this is what the property statement looks like. And there's a message here to the seller that you're obligated by law to disclose all known material, important facts about the property to the buyer, and that this disclosure statement is designed to assist you in doing that. And secondly, the message to the buyer is that although the seller is obligated to disclose all known material, important facts about the property, there are likely facts about the property that the seller does not know, and therefore it's important that you take an active role in obtaining information about the property. This statement basically covers property and ownership. It covers building and safety information. It covers swimming pool, electrical, things like that, utilities, to the best of the seller's knowledge, all the utility providers, etc., environmental information that they may or may not be aware of, sewer waste treatment, and any other additional facts that the seller might know. Now, when the seller signs this, the seller certifies that the information contained herein is true and complete to the best of the seller's knowledge as of the date it was signed, and that the seller agrees that any changes in the information contained will be disclosed in writing from the seller to the buyer prior to close of escrow. So, for instance, if everything was in working order and all of a sudden 3 or 4 days before closing, the garage door opener stops working and the seller has it repaired, then the seller is obligated then to make an adjustment to this and disclose to the buyer that the garage door opener had failed and that it has been repaired. The buyer then acknowledges that they have the information and that they know that it's based on the seller's actual knowledge and it's not a warranty of any kind, but that the buyer's obligation is to investigate any immaterial important facts in regard to the property, and that the buyer is encouraged to obtain property inspections by professional, independent third parties and to consider obtaining a home warranty protection plan. Now, for all of my buyers and sellers, I do encourage a home warranty protection plan. I do encourage all of my sellers to provide that home warranty protection plan for buyers because I believe that it's just the right thing to do. And that way, if small things come up a seller didn't know about, at least there's an affordable way to take care of those things once the home has closed, and everyone should be happy with that. Now, again, the buyer does acknowledge that by law, sellers, lessors, and brokers are not obligated to disclose that a property is or has been the site of a natural death, suicide, homicide, or crime classified as a felony, owned or occupied by a person exposed to HIV, diagnosed as having AIDS, or any other disease not known to be transmitted among common occupancy of real estate, or located in the vicinity of the sex offender. Now, as for the buyers, that last statement kind of sounds strange probably to you because you probably want to know that. But your buyer advisory has links for you to be able to investigate those things on your own. It's just not the seller's obligation to disclose that. And if you ask, again, the seller has the right to say, I am not legally obligated to disclose. And they could say that whether they know or don't know. So don't just assume that it's a yes. Go back to the buyer's advisory that you've been provided, check out those links, and do your own independent investigation of what the neighborhood is comprised of. So that's it on the residential seller's disclosure advisory, seller's property disclosure statement. If you have any questions, please give me a call. I'm Cheryl Moore. You can reach me at cherylmoore.realtor@gmail.com, or you can give me a call at 602-774-0078. Have a great day.